On August 5th, 2024, the Whitefish City Council and the city's impact fee consultant agreed to a $1.4 million settlement to a class action lawsuit. This lawsuit had been brought against the city by property owners that were charged excessive impact fees. City Attorney Angela Jacobs presented the city manager's recommendation to accept the settlement offer at the City Council meeting. However, in her presentation, Jacobs left out and misstated key information. Bottom line, her presentation totally mischaracterized this lawsuit. If you've not already viewed the video, the detailed explanation of the entire class action lawsuit can be found on the following Vimeo link or simply by typing impact fee abuses into the YouTube search engine. Okay. Now it's time to listen to the Whitefish City Attorney, Angela Jacobs, spin the facts to the general public, council members, and the mayor.
So in the summer of 2021, we discovered an error in the calculation of individual water and wastewater impact fees that occurred between January 1st of 2019 and July 31st of 2021.
Amazingly, Jacobs' first statement about the city discovering the error on its own is very far from the truth. The reality is, it was two Whitefish residents who uncovered and reported the issue to the city in 2021. Also, worth noting is that the city only acknowledged the error and began to address it after being contacted by an outside Montana state agency. The city attorney claims that the city manager fixed the problem and immediately began working on refunds. In reality, it was the threat of a class action that most likely forced the city into action. And 7 months after finally acknowledging the problem, no refunds were issued. Does that sound like immediate action? So, while Jacobs suggests the city found the problem on its own and fixed it immediately, the truth is the city never found the problem and only took action when it was apparently forced to do so. During the class action, things got even worse. To intimidate some Whitefish homeowners out of their legally due refunds, city officials sent letters to them demanding an immediate inspection of their homes. The city claimed that these homeowners would be denied refunds if they refused. Fortunately, the class action judge stepped in and declared that these letters were invalid and that the city had all the information it needed to issue full refunds to this group of homeowners. Jacobs omitted any discussion about this incident because it would have shown city officials in a bad light. Clearly, Jacobs is offering an embellished version of events. And without the persistent efforts of these two residents, the problem would still be unresolved and refunds would never be issued.
The lawsuit not only encompassed our error in counting single standalone shower heads, but it actually alleged that our impact fees as a whole, which were calculated by FCS Group, our consultant, were unreasonable.
Jacobs totally omits the city's role in computing impact fees, blaming the lawsuit solely on the consultant's calculations. But here is the real story. City manager Dana Smith not only did not adopt the FCS Group's calculated water fees, but instead she, on her own, almost quadrupled them. Yes, you heard me right. Almost quadrupled them. The impact fee consultant calculated the maximum water fee based on years of professional experience, yet Smith decided to ignore their expertise and charge nearly 4 times more.
To believe that if a jury were to come back and say that the fees were unreasonable, that the city really had nothing to do with calculating those fees, that is who we hired a consultant to do.
The city had nothing to do with these fees? Is Jacobs serious? The city had everything to do with these fees.
To believe that if a jury were to come back and say that the fees were unreasonable, that the city really had nothing to do with calculating those fees, that is who we hired a consultant to do.
There is not a jury in the world that would buy what Jacobs is selling. Jacobs says the consultant's impact fee calculations resulted in the class action lawsuit. Yet, it was the city's manager's decision to inflate these water fees that was the major reason property owners sued the city. Let me repeat that. It was Dana Smith's decision to nearly quadruple water fees beyond the calculations made by a professional impact fee consultant that ultimately led to the property owners suing the city. This alone shows just how misleading Jacobs' portrayal of the class action really is. If the city manager is capable of disregarding expert advice and grossly inflating water impact fees, what else might she be capable of? For instance, was Dana Smith responsible for the $4 million phantom solar array project that was never built? Each property owner was overcharged up to $800 for this project alone. Or did she add millions of undocumented expenses to project costs to inflate impact fees? Or was she responsible for doctoring the water and sewer collection charts to bloat fees beyond legal limits? Perhaps she was the one responsible for inflating consumer water demands to also inflate impact fees. None of this was addressed by the city attorney, and all of this surfaced in the discovery process of the class action lawsuit. All of these actions inflated impact fees for unsuspecting Whitefish property owners. Now, let's reflect on how the Whitefish City Attorney, Angelo Jacobs, dismissed the seriousness of the class action lawsuit. Jacobs even laughed at the city action, claiming it should never have been certified.
In 2023, September, almost a year ago, the federal court did certify the class action. I disagree with that decision, but I guess it doesn't really matter at this point.
A truly astounding reaction considering the gravity of the lawsuit and the number of Whitefish property owners affected by it. The federal judge issued a detailed 49-page ruling certifying the class action. The judge reviewed the facts presented by both parties to the lawsuit and confirmed the significance and validity of the lawsuit. Jacobs never mentioned that the city appealed the federal judge's ruling to the 9th District Court, and this court immediately rejected the city's appeal. And finally, she omits the fact that in a separate case, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously affirmed the basis of the property's owner's claim against Whitefish. This was a resounding endorsement of the class action. Yet, the city attorney felt her opinion had greater weight than all of these courts. This attitude highlights not just dishonesty, but an alarming lack of respect for the law and the rights of Whitefish property owners. Whitefish deserves better, much better. In conclusion, this is truly a whitewash of the city manager's responsibility for the lawsuit. No one was held accountable, even though the city and its consultants paid $1.4 million in settlement charges, along with hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. It's also important to recognize that the mayor and the city council rubber-stamped the actions of the city manager, unanimously approving each inflated fee along the way without exercising any oversight. This same behavior will undoubtedly continue, and here's proof it already has.
Unfortunately, the story doesn't end here, and the impact fee abuses by the city didn't stop. In 2024, the city implemented new impact fees developed by their new consultant, Tisler Buys Inc., which are once again seriously flawed. Property owners are now being charged thousands of dollars each in excessive and illegal fees.
This illustrates once again that the Whitefish City politicians are failing in their duty to oversee the fees imposed on the Whitefish community. Finally, if you're passionate about promoting honest and fair governance in Whitefish, we invite you to join us in this crucial fight. One immediate way you can make a difference is by sharing this video link with your family, friends, and business associates in the Whitefish area. Additionally, if you wish to get involved further, please email us at impactfeeabuses@yahoo.com. Together, we can amplify our voices and drive change. Thank you for watching.